You know, we need to get ourselves out of the city sometimes and into nature where there's an element of adventure. And I think that's the great thing about the SMRS camps is, you know, that's what it gives to the boys. It gives them an opportunity to get out and to come and experience some form of adventure. But as much as camp needs to be fun, it's also important that we learn. I think SMRS has come up with some great themes that we are discussing with the boys. Identity, self-esteem, love, trust, and joy and happiness. You know, those are key important areas. You know, that we wanna grow in if we wanna become better men. So and it's just so great to be able to do it in the outdoors, around the fire, while having fun.
We're literally just entered the third round. Let's go.
I trust God.
You're practicing courage, my boy.
How's this? Is this guy?
You're gonna be a courageous boy when you leave this camp. Come.
He's gonna take your hand.
Come.
To let go.
There you go.
Let's clap hands for
Well done.
Hello, my name is Kingsley Tobata. I am with the Character Company. I am the mentor intake coordinator and camp coordinator as well.
Okay, my name is Willie, or Uncle Willie to the boys, and I'm currently TCC's operations manager, responsible for all the camps, events, and building relationships with activity partners.
What I have learned is that no matter what happens in life, just don't get knocked down. I mean, if I tell you that just last year I was in a rehab, I mean, this year I'm cooking for the Character Company. You know, obviously I've had my ups and downs in my life. I've had parts where I did wrong, but it just helped me out, you know, to know that no matter what you do, you can change your life around.
Camp has been amazing, and no, it's not my first time. I think it's my third time coming to camp. Actually,
Putting together content and all the necessary information that we need for Men Moulding Men camp, it has been quite a journey on its own. I mean, we've been trying to look for content that will be relevant for rather the boys that we're catering for this camp. We were trying to make sure that we get content that will be content that they relate to on their day-to-day basis, content that we think and believe that they do not even get back at home, and content that we also believe that they don't really have access to due to the lack of present fathers in their lives. So those are one of the aspects that we looked at as we were compiling or gathering this information, and also based on our history of camps that we've hosted for our boys within the Character Company. We also made sure that we assist single moms out there that are raising boys. What comes with camps is not only camps, it's also mentorship, which we do on a weekly basis. So we try and get content that assists them even at home, because it's pointless for you to teach a boy or teach a son at camp certain values and ethics, but they don't get to be applied back at home.
My name is Fadzai Chakacha. I'm an IT support engineer, and I'm also a volunteer mentor at the Character Company. So we have an opportunity as volunteer mentors to meet the boys once every week. I meet my boys once every Wednesday. We basically teach them the foundation, which is the 5 values that the Character Company follows, which is courage, self-discipline, respect, kindness, and honesty. So every week we get an opportunity to discuss certain topics around one of the values, and we then also try to encourage the moms via WhatsApp groups to also share what we would have discussed with the boys when they get home.
My next question quickly, why is love important?
Also, me being a father myself, I have realized that at the end of the day, you really need to find time to spend with your kids. And I know for a son, I grew up being a son. I know there's a certain level of attention and certain things that you'd want to talk about that might not actually be spoken about by the mom, or they might not really have enough time or just the courage to speak about those things.
I have quite a long history with the character company. I've been with the character company since probably like 2014. Obviously, being a teenager without a father is hard. So, you know, it helped me out in certain parts. You know, you need a father figure. You know, yeah, you need a father. You just need a father figure to tell you like things that your mom won't tell you, and there's questions you can't ask your mom that you have to ask a man. And obviously, without a father around, the character company just helped me in that way.
To learn about God and to help me understand what it's like to have a father. I think camp is important because like it helps me like not beat down all the time, because since my dad left, obviously I'm gonna beat down sometimes, but coming to camp it actually helps me. Like I learned things my dad would have taught me if he didn't leave, and I also learned things like respect, like things that will help you in life.
You know, when we say love, it's not a love like loving a woman, but it's that understanding, that acceptance, that trust that we have for one another. You commit time with your friend, you give him support and mutual trust. You know, you can tell him anything and it won't go between the two, away from the two of you, because it's just, when you say it's just between the two of us, we actually mean it's just between the two of us.
Each of those themes do play an important part in our lives. And if we can firstly understand those things, then we will be better able to live them. So I think, so identity is, it's a foundational thing, and the most important part of that is that we need to realize how much God loves us, and that we are His children, and that He wants the best for us. So we have a responsibility in that, but He absolutely is a loving Father, and He wants the best for us. So I think that's one of the foundational themes we're looking at, and then adding to that is self-esteem. You know, if we can build up a healthy self-esteem, then it will help us to live with a healthy self-confidence as well, which impacts so many other aspects of our lives, relationships especially. And then when we start talking about love and trust, I mean, love is one of the key things that keep us together, that keeps us committed to each other. So we need to understand love, and we need to know what we can do to show other people that we love and that we care about them. Trusting, such a big one. We cannot go through life on our own. God intended us to live in relationship with each other. But as part of that, we need to learn to trust each other. And it is something that is earned, it is something that comes with time. But if we can start teaching the boys at a young age about trust, then for them growing up, they'll be able to implement that in their relationships, you know, as they go through life. Healthy, good form of trusting other people. And also being trustworthy themselves. I think that's very important, you know, that we need to also be trustworthy ourselves. And then those last two themes, joy and happiness, I think we sometimes confuse the two, but joy is very much a choice, you know. It doesn't matter if life gets hard, we choose joy. And again, if we understand our relationship with God, our identity in God, then it becomes easier to choose joy. And once we choose joy, once we have a healthy self-esteem, that's what's taking us to a more happy life.
Eyes closed. 1, 2, 3, 4.
First of all, it's fun. It's just a different experience, you know, just to get some peace and quiet and, you know, hang around with men and, you know, interact with, you know, men your age and men that are older than you. They can also tell you their stories of like how not having a father figure around actually affects you in life.
to help you understand God even more than you do, and to help you in life. If you don't have a dad, the character company is where to go because they can help you. They take your father's position, but they don't fully take it. They'll just do the things what your father should be doing.
So the support we give to the moms is on the social worker level. So what we support the moms with, it's primarily issues that are usually experienced in the teen stages mostly. We find boys, we actually engage with boys who are exposed to drugs, peer pressure, your day-to-day challenges, which most of us think that don't really contribute in their day-to-day behavior. So the type of support that we give to moms is support that will help them or will enable them to create a much more intimate relationship with their boys, to understand them even more and get to break through this mask that our boys tend to wear as they grow older. Because one thing our boys get to think, or something that they go through, is that they're usually misunderstood because they're men and they're boys at the young age. Whilst they're still trying to figure out their own lives, it's hard for them to express themselves to the opposite gender, which is their moms, their sisters, their aunts. So they tend to wear a mask and put on a front. So the type of support that we offer is to help and assist moms to break through that mask and be able to detect a mask when the boys put it on, and be able to reach down and look for the source of whatever problem they might be going through or whatever challenges they might face in the future.
I would actually say they should come to camp because it helps you, like if you lose your dad or something, or like something bad is happening in life at the moment, because like camp, they help you with stuff like that, like getting you happy and fixing your situations without making you more sad.
The second voice is jump.
Self-discipline. Because all of the values do nothing without self-discipline, because self-discipline is the main value, because without self-discipline, the values don't exist.
So during the Men Moulding camp, we've had opportunity to meet different types of boys, different age groups. There's one boy that you can see he's never really walked in the bush before. He's never probably climbed over a tree before, an obstacle before. So he's literally crawling over it. And to see how courageous he's been with even the exercises we've been able to do here, like the thrust fall, for example. He was crying, not because he didn't want to do it, but he later on did it, and you could see the courage in him. We did a night hike. He was also crying on the night hike, saying, I want to go home. But today he's excited to be joining and doing more again. So that's something that just blesses my heart.
It's actually seeing that the boys actually learn something, Today I just saw one of the boys help one of the other boys go down a hill as they were frightened, help them conquer their fears, which is one of our values, to have courage. Yeah.
Men Moulding Men taught me identity is to know who's you instead of calling them you or hey. You should know each other's names, but if you forgot each other's names, just ask.
Helping a lot of boys out.
So you know what, these themes they're great themes, but they are so rich. There's so much I think we want to share with the boys around these themes that it's difficult to fit it into one camp. If we want to be intentional, then we need more time. Camp is great, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great opportunity to talk to the boys, but to really go into depth on 6 themes in one camp that's asking for a lot. So I think the best way would be to have more than one camp, where we can, let's say, do 2 themes per camp, and we can really be intentional about it, and we can dive in deeper, and we can let the boys ask questions, and we can get those questions answered. So yeah, it's just, you know, the themes are great, but they're deep, and they need time. They need time to work through. So I think the more we can get the boys out to camp, the better, because the more we can talk about those things.
So understanding that most boys won't have access to mentors, these men molding camps can help. For example, this particular camp we're on, we've managed to spend almost 3 days with the boys. That's more intimate time with the boys and with at least a designated mentor. So it gives them a chance to have stuff explained, and it gives you a chance to also understand the boy. Instead of, you know, just rushing in and giving them material, we get to interact, we get to understand what the boy is facing, what their problem is, and you get to actually engage. Unlike just having material and just throwing it out there. This is more interactive.
Because camp actually helps a lot, like a lot. Like for me, through the past 3 camps, it has actually helped me a lot. Like I'm not down anymore. Like I told my bad situations to the mentors helped me, and now the situations are gone. Yeah.
So I think another important thing is just the reinforcement of these themes at home. So it's one thing for a boy to attend camp, learn a lot. They're going to go home with a great experience always. But I think if we're not reinforcing these themes at home or elsewhere, then the progress will be so much slower. So it's something we talk about a lot, you know, amongst some of the mentors. I think it's so important that what the mentors teach boys at camp or whenever they interact with the boys, that same message must be communicated to the moms, and the moms must reinforce that at home, or whoever these boys live with, whoever their family is. I think it's so important that these themes get reinforced, and the more we reinforce it, the more we operate on the same page, the more effective we'll be. They're ultimately the people that's going to make an impact in the world around us.
Men Moulding Men!